Well, what types of service does your car require at 100,000 miles? Today we're going to take a look. Stay tuned to the special car edition of Prudent Money. Good afternoon. This is Bob Brooks, and you are listening to the Prudent Money Radio Show. Thanks so much for joining me today. You know I do appreciate it. Tony Joe is here as he is every Friday to take your car corner questions. However, we take them at the website. So go to prudentmoney.com and go up to the top link that says Ask Bob. Send a question. If it's for Tony Joe, make sure that you get an answer. If you are sending Tony Joe a question, make sure that you allow for a lot of detail about what's going on with your car. Always needs as much detail as possible. And so we can get you taken care of. That's off the website, www.prudentmoney.com. Well, Tony Joe, how's it going?
Well, everything's good. I am what you would call gracefully blessed.
Gracefully blessed. I like that. And you know what next Thursday is? I would expect.
What's the date?
I don't know. April 23rd, maybe.
Okay. April 23rd. Doesn't ring a bell. What?
It may not be April 23rd. I just think that's what I heard.
Okay.
The NFL draft.
Oh, the draft. Yes,
I mean, it's just as depressed and down as you get this time of year.
Can you imagine?
That should be a bright spot on your calendar.
Well, it is. It is. The draft is
I'm a little disappointed in this reaction.
Well, no, the thing is, I just thought of something that I would like to mention, and that is to you, and that is apparently, like City Hall here in Dallas, AT&T Stadium needs billions of repairs.
Really?
Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't.
Mm-hmm. Arlington thinks Cowboys ought to pay for it. Cowboys think Arlington ought to pay for it.
The life of Jerry Jones.
AT&T Stadium. Has it been that long? I mean,
he should be picking up the amount of money.
Can that place be in ruins? Really? It doesn't seem like
it doesn't seem like it's been that long. Maybe 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, really?
I don't really. I liked the old building, the old stadium myself.
Yeah, Texas.
It's just
Irving,
it's just more.
Yeah.
It's not so shiny and.
I loved going there.
Yeah, that was a great place. Yeah, in fact, just a side note, Amy, who used to work for me, gave me a chair back from one of the seats in the old stadium.
Really?
Had autographs all over it.
I heard they were selling,
Yeah. But they're all these autographs were on it. It's pretty cool.
Autographed by
football players?
Yeah,
Cowboys.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought that'd be something you'd like.
What you going to do with it?
Want
to sell it?
No. $1 million. If you give me $1 million, I'll sell it to you. Well, let's talk a little bit about 100,000 miles. I was thinking about this. For most people, they go, they do their thing, they live their lives, they drive their cars. The car, as long as it doesn't break down, everything's good. A battery here, a battery there, oil changes. And then they really don't pay attention to the mileage levels they're hitting. I really do. I think this is most people. Until it gets to 100,000 miles. I mean, that's a wake-up call. You look down there and go, that is a lot of miles. 90, not so much. 100, you've hit a milestone. And so you've done some things. Maybe let's say you've done 55 to 60% of what you should have been doing all along, because these important service dates where you hit, that you come in and they've got, this is what Toyota says to do from A to Z on your car in that particular service order. But talk a little bit about what does the person do that fits the description of that? I'm at 100,000 miles. And I need to get this car up to date. What are we looking at? What kind of cost are we looking at? And just overall service.
Okay, let me start by saying that a lot of the 100,000 mile scare goes back in time, and we've got to learn to outgrow the old myth that, and it was true back then. Back in the 70s, if you had a car that got to 100,000 miles, it was usually burning oil. It had a lot of problems. 100,000 miles was the milestone where you said, it's time to get rid of this car. It's been a good car, 100,000 miles. It's whipped. It's done. Well, that's not the case anymore. It's far from the case anymore. We consistently see cars with 320,000, 350,000. We see cars with 286,000, and they're still in very good shape. And really, you could drive it to California and back. I mean, they're really better built cars. Of course, they cost a lot more, but they're better built for longevity. They're safer if you're getting into an accident. There's so many good things about cars today, but we got to outgrow that myth of 100,000 miles. But having said that, to your point, maintenance at 100,000 miles is the utmost of important milestones when it comes to maintenance. For instance, you see, Bob, the more expensive the car, in a lot of cases, the more expensive it's going to be to maintain that car. So not counting the high-end European stuff, let's go to, for instance, a regular, like a Chevrolet, Tahoe, a Suburban, something like that. Just generally speaking, at 100,000 miles, you got to look at a lot of things. That doesn't mean you need a lot of things, but there's a maintenance schedule, and it should be followed or adhered to as close as possible. I mean, we're living in reality. Not everybody can do every service on time, 100%. So at 100,000, you're looking at like your first tune-up. Most vehicles are due to be tuned up around 90 or 100,000 miles. There's some exceptions, but generally speaking, I hope at 100,000 miles, hopefully you've done the oil changes, which is the basic, most fundamental, most important service you could ever do to your car. Have the oil changed on time. But now that we're at 100,000, assuming you've been having the oil changed on time, you got to look at things like the first thing that comes to mind is it's time to do a tune-up on it. It may run perfect. You may think, I don't need a tune-up. It starts, it goes. Wrong. You're wearing out some parts and really getting contamination in other areas that need to be cleaned and replaced and serviced so that you can maintain this. Hey, it runs great. Well, that's good. And if you want it to stay that way, you need to do the maintenance at 100,000.
Yeah, it runs great until it doesn't.
Right. See, the problem is they run good right up until the time there's bad problems, and by then it's too late. So because your car seems to be running okay and it's got 100,000, it's time to change the spark plugs. It's time to look at the belts and hoses. It's time to look at some of this stuff that was great right up until now. But now, if you want to keep the car and you want to keep it running good, you got to do some of these services, because in the long run, you want to keep this car and drive the wheels off it. That's the only way, in my opinion, just my opinion, the best way you can come out ahead on an automobile, which is a losing battle financially anyway. The best thing you can do is keep it and drive the wheels off it. That's the way you come out ahead money-wise, financially, when you own an automobile. You got to look at, like, a lot of cars now, people are amazed how long the brakes last. Sometimes brakes are due at around 100,000. You don't know that they're bad, but you need to have them inspected. See how much material's left on the brake linings. Things like that need to be looked at. Now, I'm not saying you need them, because I've seen original brakes go way beyond 100,000. But again, you got to understand it's the habit of the driver that wears the brakes out. So there is no one general rule for how long brakes are going to last on any car. It depends on the driving habit of the individual driving it.
Yeah, when you really think about it, I mean, things that could go out, you can't really check them to see if they're on their, they're a week away or a month away. For instance, like some of the things that are just big inconveniences and expensive, the water pump.
Yeah, water pump.
I mean, there's really nothing that unless it's starting to leak water, that could be the warning sign. But you know what I mean. There's not a whole lot that you can inspect.
Right, but visual inspection on a water pump is important because if there is signs of leakage,
see that. Yeah,
you'll see at the very beginning before it just really starts to hemorrhage in the middle of Central Expressway.
On a 105-degree day.
And then also, you got to realize, Bob, there are things that you can't actually visually inspect, but you can go into the computer system now, and you can look at data. And the thing is, you can look at data and kind of see what's going on trend-wise. So if you look at data and you see something that doesn't look healthy or doesn't look apropos, like it should at 100,000 miles, then you can possibly fend off things before they happen. And this is a great tool we have now, is to be able to use a scan tool and really look at data to see if there's something that's starting to go bad, starting to become a problem, but has not yet manifested itself drivability-wise, just like a tune-up. You could take the spark plugs. They run great. 100,000 miles, they were supposed to be changed. And by the way, I see this a lot. This is a very common scenario that happens. There are people out there that really still believe in getting rid of a car at around 100,000 miles. So the tune-up isn't due till 100,000. They trade it in at around 103, 105. I'm not going to put any money into it because I'm going to trade it in.
Sure.
So the people that took it in as a trade-in dealer, probably, they put it out on the lot, and the person comes along that wants to buy it, and they look at it and they drive it, and like I said, it still runs good, still starts good. They think, hey, this is a great car, and it probably is. But about 10 or 12,000 miles into it, suddenly their car causes problems, misfires, check engine lights on, got some problems. And it all amounts to the fact that the tune-up never got done. It slipped through the loop. Slipped through the cracks at 100,000 miles. One seller didn't do the maintenance because they're going to get rid of the car, so they traded it in. The buyer bought it not knowing that the previous maintenance wasn't done, and all of a sudden they got 10 or 12,000 after it was supposed to be tuned up, and then all of a sudden they're the ones stuck with the problems. And this happens all the time. So you got to be careful about maintenance when you're buying a car, because if the maintenance, which is what our topic is right now, it doesn't get done, then it can lead to you as a used car buyer inheriting some things that might have to be addressed shortly after you buy the car. It's not detrimental. It's just missed maintenance that would never got performed.
Well, and you think about some car dealerships, not trying to say all, but so some, they get that car and they know that car's got problems, and they just hope that it's not discovered. And of course, if a certain percentage of it's discovered, they're going to have to fix it.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny that. This industry is not known for, yeah, you're right. It does happen. I can't deny that. It's not everybody's on the up and up. Yeah. So
I forgot, let me ask you this real quick before you go any further. Talking about 100,000 miles, the question, and you talked a little bit about this, but didn't get right to it, and that is, how long could I realistically expect a car to last, given the technology, given today's car build?
How long can you expect it to last?
Yeah. So
realistically, Bob, with daily driving and maintenance that's kind of done on time, some of it maybe not, but in the real world, I would be looking at 350,000 miles. Maybe 3 to 350.
Mm-hmm.
However, people that are real sticklers, and these cases are out there and that you can look them up, There are people that take care of their car. If they really take care of it good, they can get 5, 6, 700,000 miles. It's amazing. No engine, no transmission, just regular maintenance, driving it like they mean it, not hot rodding it and running it into the ground, and just basically taking care of your car. You can get an amazing amount of longevity out of it now.
So tell me this, maybe that you don't have the answer to this, but you have the process. How do you answer to a customer of yours brings the car in, it seems like every month, getting things fixed. At what point do you look at it, and how do you figure this out? When does it make sense it's counterproductive now to spend another dollar on this car?
Yeah, let's address that, because that does happen too. And by the way, just before I get into that, let me just say that the car dealers don't want you to get 3, 4, 500,000 miles. They don't want that. Their business model is every 3, 4 years, 3 years, say, you trade it in, get another car, but you're always in debt that way. Well, most people are. But that is going to be something the dealers will disagree with, that statement that I made. But the best way to financially win when it comes to a losing investment, which is an automobile, you can't help it. It's a very poor way to invest money. But such as it is, we all need a car, so we got to live with it. So the best way to do it is to take good care of it and drive it until it just can't go any farther. All right, let's move on to your topic now. When do you know when that time is? Well, a lot of people, unfortunately, don't know, aren't going to be able to tell, because they're not automobile technicians. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't know when that time comes. You need to depend on somebody who's honest with you. Many times I have broached a problem with an automobile, and I look at the obvious signs of, say, leaks, and the shift doesn't feel right, and I know there's transmission problems, but I don't think it's worth repairing, because the transmission today is so expensive, and some of the car, you got to factor in things like, if that's all it was a transmission, that would be one thing. It might be worth getting fixed. But if the transmission's not working right and the air conditioner needs $1,000 worth of repairs, and the engine needs to be tuned up and it's going to cost $300 or $400, when you add all these factors in, is this car worth repairing and keeping, or is it going to be non-productive to try to fix this car? And in those cases, I just tell people, my opinion, just my opinion, but you probably would be better off just trading this car in before something leaves you stranded in the middle of the road, because it's coming. And either you're going to have to address it financially, or maybe wash your hands of this car right now and get into something else if it's financially feasible for you to do that at this time, because it's a losing proposition, and there's a lot of cars with major problems that can happen to. So you got to really have somebody you can trust. I don't know that the average individual is going to be able to put all these factors together, add it up, and say, well, gosh, this is going to cost, $8,000 for a car that's worth $6,100. Well, that's not possible in a lot of cases for the average person to do that. So you got to have some help. And having that kind of help is vital, because once you start pouring money into a car, now you're in a situation where, well, I've already put $4,200 into it. Now I need $2,500 more. And I'm so deep into this car, I can't afford to just get rid of it now.
Yeah.
So it's a snowball. It's kind of a, snowball thing that just grows and grows.
Well, and also I was thinking about, I can't remember what you call this. One mechanic looks at a brake job and says, "Yeah, you definitely need to replace it." The other looks at it and says, "No, you could get another 15,000 miles out of it." What do you call that? I can't remember.
Well, it's subject to your judgment. You're saying one mechanic might say, you need right now brakes or you can't drive the car, and the other mechanic might look at it and say, really, it's not detrimental. It's not an emergency. You've got, 3-4 months before you have to do
And
the
it
brake.
might be a situation neither one of them are wrong.
Yeah, but in most cases, you have to realize, Bob, you want to weigh on the side of what we call commission. A lot of mechanics get paid for what they can sell. So sometimes you got to get a second opinion. That's all. Because one mechanic might say, you got to have it now. And the other mechanic say, well, they're not that bad. You can go a few months and start socking some money away for a brake job. So it's really subjective. It depends on who you're talking to and how much experience they've got. Because a lot of younger people, not that this is a bad thing, I think it's a good thing, but they go to school, they come out of school, and anything they see is got to be replaced. Their judgment is a little bit, what's the word? Their judgment is a little bit overbearing, not overbearing, I can't think of the word, but they want to change everything that they see, which is technically the way they were taught. But years and years of experience, reality comes into the picture, and, it's not that bad. Yeah, there's a spot of oil there, but a little bit of sludging of oil over 100,000 miles is not really necessarily unrealistic.
Okay, so our EV article of the week. You're not going to believe this one.
Okay.
This actually happened in Plano.
What's EV? Oh, electric vehicles. Okay.
Yeah. So a Texas Tesla driver narrowly avoided disaster after he says the vehicle's autopilot accelerated through a lowered railroad crossing gate as a DART train approached. Have you heard this?
No.
So he says, Brown said he's logged more than 40,000 miles using Tesla's a full self-driving feature without any issues. Then on April 7th, Brown was near a railroad crossing on Plano on 18th Street. The bars were down, the lights were flashing, and the DART was coming down the tracks.
Wow.
Here he goes. This gets interesting. He waited. His car didn't. About the time I realized I was moving, the bar is right there, like right in front of me. He said he did what most people do and zoned out while he waited for the train to pass. Then the vehicle suddenly accelerated without warning on its own. The moment was captured by multiple cameras in the vehicle. The barrier snapped and the glass from his windshield filled his car. Brown was uninjured. Tesla has Brown's cars for repairs and is investigating what happened. Tesla CEO, got to have a good Elon Musk quote for when things go wrong. Said in January the technology was still years away from being much safer than a human. Can you believe that? That's awful.
It is, yeah, that's scary. And so I want to just reiterate what we always try to point out is my belief is that you can never, a panel of programmers sitting around a table for years can never come up with every single possibility that a car could be in to avoid an accident or possibly death. I mean, did it hit the train? I mean, I
didn't get that. I don't know. I didn't really get that impression that it hit. I think he got out on the other side safely or something.
Oh, wow.
But, I mean,
That's incredible.
Can you imagine?
Well, I can imagine. I can imagine that car. I can't believe you wouldn't program a car to stop for railroad crossings. But something, who knows, Bob, something in the communication between the gate closing. I mean, you've got transmitters, you've got all kinds of radio frequency. What was it that may have interfered with the software that caught a glitch and the car decides to just,
So I got to wrap it up real quick. I'll say one thing. Stop calling it autopilot.
Right. Yep.
Oh, man, I tell you, that would solve a lot of problems. This is Bob Brooks, and you are listening to the Special Car Corner edition of Prudent Money. Just go to the website and pull it up, and we'll get you taken care of. That's all at the website, prudentmoney.com. We are all out of time. Until we do meet again next time, keep the faith and have a great rest of the day.
That's all the time we have for today. Questions or comments for Bob, or to find out more great information like what you've just heard, visit www.prudentmoney.com. Be sure to join Bob Brooks again for the next edition of Prudent Money.